Hi guys, in this video I'm going to give you a quick lowdown of the things you really want to be doing if you're on LinkedIn looking for leads. This is a much simpler way of doing it. There's lots of videos that can overcomplicate it, but these are just a few of the key things you want to do. So number one, if you haven't got it already, create your business page separate to your personal profile. You want to get as many followers on there as you can. You want to have really clear branding, messaging. Have a post that you pin to the top, which describes what you do. So anytime anyone lands on that business page, the first thing they see is that information. And LinkedIn will show you like how much you've completed your page and what you've done. Make sure you've really gone through and completed every aspect of that page so it looks really good. And then what you want to do is post once or twice a week on there, but most importantly, get your followership going. I'm going to talk to you about how you do that. So the second thing after you've got your page is to really focus in on your ideal customer or client. Who are they? Where do they come from? What's on their mind? What are their problems? Draw this out on a piece of paper until you've really got this ideal person down to, demographic, location, as much as you can, industry area. You might not be able to go as specific as that, but it's more around what are the problems they face. Once you've done that, you can start to really nail down some key job titles that you want to start searching for in LinkedIn. And you can do this without paying for the premium version of LinkedIn. There are different ways you can do it. But think about what those job titles are. And then what you want to do is write the messaging for some of the inbox messaging that you're going to do to try and connect with those people first, to start a conversation, and then to see if you can basically turn them into a lead and get them interested in whatever it is you're selling. So the number I try to aim for is 20 new connections a day. That means I must send out 20 to 30 new connections every single day in the attempt to get more people to connect with me who could be, potential leads for me. Once someone connects, and I'll talk about the messaging in a second, if they connect with you, the first thing you want to do is then add them to be a follower of your page. It's important that you do that quickly, because if you do it like a week later, they'll forget and they'll have loads of invites to pages and yours will probably just go in the delete bin because they won't have read it. So you want to have your page, you want to connect with the people who are your key ideal client customer, get them to connect with you, get them to follow your page, and you want to give them something in order to do that. So for me, what I usually do is when I'm doing that connection, I always personalize the invite and I have a little bit of copy that gets them intrigued. So I might say something like, does your business have a market-winning change methodology? Or pinpointing to either the value you're going to bring them or the problem they have. Are you currently struggling with executing business change effectively in your business? If you are, and then you can add something in. I've got this particular methodology that makes this, this and this. Would be good to connect if you're interested to learn more. That's usually the type of thing that I say. I never do any of these really arrogant messages that you get from people. Let's connect. Please put time in my diary. No. Be respectful. Treat them as a customer. Always ask them in a really polite way. Don't go down the arrogant streak, and even if lots of people are connecting and responding, because I can't stand those messages. So I always say, it would be good to connect if you'd like to learn more. Something that makes sure that they've not just pressed connect because it's sort of vaguely interesting. They've pressed connect because for a moment they have thought, yeah, actually, I would probably want to learn more about that. Obviously, what you have to remember is you can connect with 100 people, and it still might only lead to 1 or 2 actual leads. But those are the numbers on LinkedIn. It is needle in the haystack. So you've got to keep going and stick to those goals of trying to connect with 20 people a day, trying to get 1 to 5 leads a week. That's usually the number I give myself, and trying to increase your followers. So I kind of have I want to increase by 100 each month or whatever. Obviously, one of the challenges is if you're not going to pay for the LinkedIn Premium, there are limits LinkedIn will put on to how many people you can connect with, to how many profiles you can search. One of the ways to get around that is to think about the different forums and groups that your ideal customer might belong to. So for me, for example, Change Management Institute, I can go on there, 7,000 followers, I can literally go through that list and start messaging and connecting with those people. Other forums I can also look at. Another thing is looking at the hashtags for the topic that's of interest to your people. So whatever it might be, marketing, coaching, and then you go and look at all the posts and all the comments, posts that have had masses of comments, connect with all those people. So there's lots of ways you can still do it without just going through the search function where then LinkedIn might limit you. I always use the rule of 3 when it comes to messaging. I never message people more than 3 times. Firstly, because it's irritating to them. Secondly, because it's a waste of time for me. And thirdly, because it can just get really demoralizing. And then you look desperate. And people can smell when you're desperate and you keep messaging. So I have the first message, which is the personalized invite to connect. let's connect if you'd like to learn more, that type of thing. Once you've given a bit of info, given them a bit of value, if they connect, next message is where you give them more information. Try and keep it short. People just can't be bothered to read that much. Really read over it and say, have I nailed in that top line what they've got to know? Have I nailed it in a way that is speaking straight to the problem they've got? And then what I usually do is I wait a week if there's nothing then, and I send one more follow-up, which is always my shortest message. Literally, if you're still thinking about how you develop a market-winning change methodology, would be great to speak. Again, keeping it really light and polite. So I always use 3 messages. Obviously, the thing to remember is, no matter how much you've honed in on your perfect client or customer, don't be disheartened if you don't get lots of responses, because your ideal customer really is the one who's got the problem that you're going to fix for them at that exact moment in time. And they might have that problem, but it might be that, yeah, last month that was a big deal, but this month I've kind of got distracted and I got too much else on, so I'm not responding to this yet. But the good thing is most people will keep that stuff kind of in the back of their head, and then it might arise again in 6 months' time, and then they'll come back to you. So you've really got to have patience, you've really got to have tenacity and keep going, and try not to get kind of downhearted if you don't get a lot. Think about it, even if you get 30 new followers a week, 10 new connections, 1 lead, it's a big deal, you're doing a really good job. Keep going with it, because it will start to flow. And also, don't get too stuck in your messaging. If you've done some and you think not really getting that many people connecting or responding, go back and look at it again. Try different types of messaging. I always write mine down, so I can quickly copy and paste it in. And then keeping track of it all in your LinkedIn box, can take a little bit of time, but if you stick to the rule of the 3, you can always scroll down and see, right, all of those I've done my final message to, so they're all, I'm going to ignore them all now. And any ones where people say, yeah, this might be interesting in about a month's time, write those down somewhere, because you'll never find them back in your inbox again. And then you can go back and talk to them. And I always try and say, a really quick chat, a demo, something that makes it feel easy for them. And giving them something of value when you're sharing that information about what you do, giving something away so they feel like they've kind of had something from you. So do stick with it, because if you keep going, you will find that needle in a haystack at some point where you've messaged that person on the day when they were thinking, shit, this is a bloody problem, I've got to sort this out, I need some help, and then your message will be there. And that's why you've got to keep doing it. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. Please like and subscribe.